sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com. It is Sunday, May 17th, 2020, here with our live show. Of course, we're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Sports, no sports, it doesn't matter. We just keep the ball rolling. You know, I was going to do some regular videos, and I think I might do some just to get back into the swing of things. I was doing so many videos, and now I haven't really done one in over a month of just a regular standing video. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think with the soccer starting, the Bundesliga, the Premier League talking about going, I think I'm going to do some soccer picks. But we have NASCAR today. We have Bundesliga today. We had a nice little UFC card last night. And, you know, 3 cards in 8 days for the UFC. Way to pick it up. I mean, it's I know it's not for everybody, but it's certainly something. And it's certainly saying we can have sports. And I think, you know, what we saw in the Bundesliga yesterday, same thing. It's like we can have sports. And, you know, really excited. But speaking about UFC, we have the Puck Dogs with us today. Steve is out on the golf course, and he didn't I don't know. He's driving around in the car and he doesn't mute his phone, so it's like all we hear is motors, and then they're yelling at each other about what heroes they are and their shots, you know, whatever. But he refused to show us the scorecard, and we refused to show him then. Anyways, I played 36 yesterday. Pretty much shot the lights out on the blue course at Wailea, which is one of the most beautiful courses in the world. It's got to. I think all the Wailea courses are beautiful, but the blue is the oldest one, so it's a mature course. A lot of big trees, a lot of mature growth out there. I managed to avoid most of it. I had a few bad shots. I'm not Tiger Woods. I'm not a pro, but certainly made my way around the track pretty well. I play a ridiculous amount of golf, so it's like at this point I would expect it from myself, but. Of course, we always expect the A game from the Puck Dogs. We've got Chris Ruffalo, we've got Rod Zawacki with us, and let's bring them in without further ado. We'll go with the old school lineup, the way that we did it for a long time. I'll be in the middle, put these guys on the sides. I don't remember if this was the correct order or not. It might have gone the other way. I don't remember, but anyway, it's Slices. Welcome, guys. Kind of feels like old times here, right? This is. Oh, let me. Let me bring up the sound. Morning.
Morning. We got the bad airplane set up. We got the skinny guy in between the two big guys.
Yep, it's definitely the airplane seat. But so last night's UFC card, I watched it, and you guys know I'm not a UFC person. We had a woman with the absolutely bloody face win a fight. We had. A main event which could have easily been stopped. I've seen less stopped in the limited UFC that I've watched. A fight that could have been stopped, and once again a bloody mess. And the guy turns it around, and ends up winning the fight. And then we saw Ige, another Hawaiian winner, and I thought it was a pretty nice little card for some free UFC action. And those of us that are not, the hardcore UFC people, and I know the elite UFC guys kind of take it to a different level. It's a different, just a different pace and a different style. But we saw some pretty good fighting last night. Chris, any notes there like that? Anything you liked or didn't like? I mean, obviously we don't like not having the crowd there, and in any sport the crowd does matter. But, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, for me, the two takeaways I had last night were, one of the fights we talked about was Song Yadong and Marlon Vera, and I think Marlon Vera is going to take another step forward in that division. Song, like Rod said yesterday, he's going to be one of the better fighters in that division for a long time to come, but Vera's no slouch, and he showed it last night. Song got the decision, but Vera looked really good doing in the loss. But the negative takeaway for me was that I was a little bit flabbergasted with some of the scoring from the judges. But I guess that goes to the mindset of then don't let the judges decide the fight. Finish the fight on your own. But it's like I was saying before the show. I don't know how Angela Hill or even Dan Ige won the third round. But I thought Barbosa won the third round. But you know what? I'm happy because I had Ige yesterday. But
I thought
like I
that
said,
that
Andrew,
fight, you know,
I thought Andrew Hill
from a
won.
fighting fan, and you know, like I said, not a UFC expert, but here's the way I saw the Ige fight. I thought the first round when Ige was down on his back and was really, I don't know if you get points for this or not, but he pretty much effectively neutralized a lot of the damage he could have taken at that point, you know? And I really thought that, you know, once he got back on his feet, that it was basically, and I think this is the way the judges might have seen it, is that Barbosa just couldn't, I mean, Ige was basically just walking through him. And we see this when lighter fighters, we see it in boxing too. We saw it in pretty recently when Vargas stepped up against who was the guy that he fought? It was really one of the great fighters out there. Is in that same division with him. I'll remember it in a minute, but not something that I planned on referencing. But it's kind of like you see this often. Like when Manny Pacquiao moved up to welterweight, he was no longer a knockout artist, right? He was no longer a knockout artist. And guys kind of were able to stand in there and take the punches. I mean, he was much faster than everybody else, so he threw out a beating on them. But I think what we saw from Barbosa in that Ige fight, at least to me, was that Ige was the aggressor, and that's because he wasn't afraid of getting hit by this guy because he knew he couldn't injure him. Rod, what is your take on that?
That's exactly what it is. He defended on the ground. And you get points for that. You get the points for defending, even on your back. They take in consideration. That's what I think. That's what happened in the first round. So I think that's why the decision went the way it did.
How about the main event with Overeem on his back and Harris, doing the hammer fists and kind of really wailing on blood coming out, the whole 9 yards, and it looked like he was out for a second, and came back to it.
And then he came back too, and he was flopping around, and to me, it almost looked like the very first event we seen this week in the UFC, where Cruz was flopping around still, and they stopped the fight. And I think the result of the Cruz complaining of that, they've been letting these fights go just a little bit longer than they normally would. So that's how Overeem came back. Because then later in the second round, they could have stopped that fight with Harris getting his head kicked in. They should have stopped that a little sooner too. Like how many ear hole shots does it take before you stop the fight?
I think
apparently less. Apparently a lot more than when there's a crowd in the stands. is what I noticed. Is that they seem to let. I think in general, I always thought UFC stoppage were a little quick. From what I've seen in the past, but I'm not in the ring, so I can't see what the ref sees. You can't see what the ref sees. I mean, you can't. There's no camera in the world that can pick us up, but it's kind of like, you look at the eyes, you look at, and see, what's going on here. And it's not like these refs have never fought, refed a fight before, and I've never seen a guy get injured before. It's this is what they do. So, I think the fact that, both of those fights that we thought were going to be stoppages weren't stoppages, and the other guy came back and won, just shows you that maybe they shouldn't have stopped. I mean, maybe, if they would have stopped, they would have been mad. Sometimes when they stop it, the guy's all mad. Right? Why you stop it?
My biggest takeaway was if there was a crowd there, that crowd would have been ruckus and cheering because they all would have been on Walt's side, and Walt would have got that. It's like when the crowd's there, you get that extra little oomph to finish the job. And I think he would have finished Overeem there. He would have got that crowd boost. But when it's so quiet, it's tough.
Yeah. It's almost like you're in your training gym.
Yeah.
It's just very quiet. But you know what? You could tell watching that fight that as soon as Overeem started to come back and he got that first takedown, you could see Harris starting to blow and starting to breathe heavy. it was not looking good from that point on.
Yep.
So next card looks like Arizona or Vegas. Um, it's not really determined, right? Neither is the date determined on this because I saw they were advertising for the women's fight. Women's fight, Chris. What's up with this?
Yeah, they were looking for May 30th.
So
So it's
just a couple weeks.
yeah.
So not June.
They're looking for May 30th. They said that if they can't go in Las Vegas, then Dana White said he'll go to Arizona. He said 100% that's where he'll go.
All right. Well, we have action today. Lots of talk here in the chat about NASCAR. I know Rod's got some NASCAR picks for us. Rod, what do we have to say? I don't know anything about NASCAR. It's another one of those sports I know very, very little about. Darlington Speedway.
Okay, it's for me, NASCAR here today. Uh, in NASCAR, you can bet top three. Just bet top three drivers, and they'll give you a half decent odds. So then your driver just has to come top three, and then I pick a couple winners. So for my top three today, I'm going to take Harvick to come in the top three plus 200. I'm going to take Truex Jr. to come in the top three plus 250, and I take Logano to come in top three at plus 300. And then my two winners, I'm going to take Truex Jr. at plus 800 to win, and Logano to win at plus 1100.
So,
So,
go ahead.
basically with that, like if Logano wins, you're still you can win the top. You're going to win both bets. You're going to win his win bet and the top third three bet as well. So it's kind of like with NASCAR, you can pick a couple different winners and still come out way ahead on the day. That's what I like about NASCAR. You're not having to rely on one guy and hope that one guy wins. Especially with the odds at like plus 800, plus 1100, I could take a couple more winners if I wanted to, and still, if your winner comes in, you still come up on the day.
So in some of the sports we talked about like how they're going to come out of the gate. Is it going to be tentative? Is it going to be full blown or whatever? I expect these guys to be going full tilt all the way. I mean,
Oh yeah,
one thing about NASCAR, I don't think these guys have they have no
yeah.
media.
There's no break. It's gas pedal all the way.
It's not going to be like. I mean, these are the guys that hold the Super Bowl the first race. It's like,
Yep.
yeah.
There's no break here. They're going to be all out. And what I like about it is everybody's on the same playing field. There was no practice, no startup, so nobody has any idea how their car's going to run. It'll be lap one, get out there, and then make changes on the fly. So who's going to win today? The best team that can make the best changes on the fly because no practice, no run, but they're going to go all out. It's just to be fun to watch. For me on TV, if you're watching it on TV, I don't think you're going to notice that there's no fans in the stands because I never noticed the fans in the stands during the races. It is. It's not like you hear them. All you hear is the car going around. Well, that's not going to change.
I think NASCAR, the crowd has changed over the years. It used to be originally like a really hardcore crowd. Then it became kind of like NASCAR kind of fluffed itself up like the NFL has done. And I think now, I think NASCAR, after that happened and the ticket prices went up and they lost their fan base, you're going to see sort of the other fans come back in. But I think, something like this is, running sports at a time like this, kind of like me, I'm watching UFC. It's like I'm out. So the UFC fights, like for me, they start at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So we eat dinner and then we go walk Sam around the block. So it's like you might see me with my phone watching a football game, on an app, but it's like yesterday I was watching the Overeem fight, watching the Overeem Harris fight on on an app, walking the dog. It's like this is what happens, you know. And these are the opportunities that are out there for some of the sports, and we'll see. I don't know what that means, Jeff, who covers NASCAR for us. Roofing, but I can win for sure at NASCAR. I'll tell you one thing. I never say I can win for sure. So, anyways, really, that's we have anything else because not a lot of news here in sports tonight on ESPN. The finale of The Last Dance. This has been really phenomenal. This series by ESPN. Hats off to those guys. They're a sponsor of ours and partner of ours. We don't talk about it too much. I like them. I watch them. I think it's kind of like how I am. I have friends at CBS, right? One of my very best friends works at CBS, and also other friends, Brian LaFrance, who runs the sports betting and area of CBS Sports, is a good friend of mine too. And I have nothing bad to say about any of those places. They just do things different than we do because they have more access than we do. So it's like we don't pretend we're recapping the UFC a little bit here, but it's not. We generally don't recap a bunch. I just think it was important because we talked about it yesterday, and also the UFC. It's like they're putting these fights closer and closer together. So. We'll do a little bit of recapping, but I think like CBS and ESPN and these guys, I mean, what they do is different than us, It's just different than what we do. And what they do, they're great. If you look at my screen right here, I have ESPN up, I have it up all the time. It's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning. I don't even get out of bed. I have the iPad. I check our Facebook page, our Facebook group, my email, and ESPN, pretty much before I get out of bed every day.
I mean, in Canada, I do TSN. So we flip on to the sports now.
Well, someone's got to look at TSN. Anyways, Chris, Bundesliga.
Yeah. Well, today it's the 9:30 Cup. I think we covered that yesterday, but at 12 o'clock.
How about
Union
in-game?
Berlin supposed to Bayern Munich.
So Mainz is down 2-1 here. It's a 68-minute mark. Throw in a little in-game for the that they score a goal.
I think you could cover the draw. It's at 4-1 right now. I think Mainz put a little bit of pressure on the last 20 minutes.
I would take the other way. Give me Cologne live -1.5 if they win by a couple goals. Plus 135.
There's too much desperation for.
I like Cologne over.
But then we have Bayern here at noon Eastern time. So just in about an hour, this game starts. Who do we like here? I mean, Bayern is kind of like Bayern is the New York Yankees, right, and the Dallas Cowboys of the Bundesliga. They are that team, or these days it was always the Dallas Cowboys are still they're even though the Patriots have dominated obviously in the NFL, the last 20 years. The Dallas Cowboys are still the Yankees of they still are, So I consider Bayern the same for this. What do you think?
The problem with Bayern being the Yankees of the Bundesliga is that it's hard to find value on them, and that's like we have here with Bayern -588 on the money line against Union Berlin. I'm even looking at the Asian handicap, and to take Bayern Munich -2, it's still -137. That's just to get if you win 2-0 to
go. Yeah, mine's not even.
Okay,
so even money for me.
Yeah, I could. If you're looking for a winner, I'd say Bayern Munich -2 at either Rod's at either even money for me. It's -137. Just got to shop around for a line, but I also like Robert Lewandowski for Bayern Munich to be the first goal scorer at +210.
So if he scores on a penalty, it's just any score. Any score. Could be penalty kick, could be header, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could be anything as long as he's the first goal scorer on the sheet.
All right.
Plus,
I think soccer is a great sport for prop bets. I do.
yeah.
I think, and I think that a lot of the books really open up the prop betting on soccer if you find the right one. They really do. It's like I said, my friend hit that bet in the World Cup for England against Sweden. That England would score on 2 headers, and it paid it was like 600 to 1 or something. It hit.
Yeah.
It's like soccer is one of those sports, and also, while not everybody, but a lot of players score in soccer, that scoring is primarily there's usually 1 or maybe 2 players per team that is their primary job, is to score goals. So it's not like hockey where it's like, obviously the 3 guys in the front are more likely to score, and once in a while you get a guy that can really fire the puck. You've had plenty of defensemen that can score a lot of goals too, but in soccer defensemen do not score. Only on penalty kicks. Only on penalty kicks.
Main's tied up 2-2.
There it is. Virtual high fives here for the. Yeah, I saw that score. I was kind of like, maybe we should end game. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm always looking.
You can take a shot with us and what? Plus 2,200.
So we have a game tomorrow.
Score another one.
We have Bundesliga tomorrow.
There is a game tomorrow. Tomorrow's Mitch Monday, so it's covered right now. So Bayer Leverkusen at Werder Bremen. Bremen's just they're not playing well. They're 17.
Why do I feel like I should be eating a soft dough pretzel while we're talking about this? I'm gonna get.
I'll send over a plate of brats.
I'm gonna get a soft dough pretzel for our Bundesliga sections from now on.
Even at minus 152, this is a great price for Bayer Leverkusen, considering they're going to make a push for the top 4, and this is a more than winnable game. If you want to get plus money, I take Bayer Leverkusen and under 3.5 goals. I think this is a 2-0, 3-0 game, but I don't see Bremen keeping up here.
No. I think Chinese minus half, minus 0.5. You get minus 120.
Bundesliga is the German soccer league, is what it is. It's what there's the big soccer leagues in the world are the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the La Liga, which is Spain, and Serie A, which is Italy, and then French is called the
League One.
Yeah, League One. So those are the biggest soccer leagues in the world, but there are millions of other ones. I mean, literally thousands of other leagues. Which explains why our soccer coverage is what it is. Because it's a super. There are these top leagues, and we do want to cover the main action, but it gets so fragmented. It gets so fragmented that's just difficult to cover it all.
Yeah.
And also, we don't have anyone to do it as well, but and anyone to read it either. But anyways, so who we got tomorrow? Leverkusen?
Yeah, I like Leverkusen.
All right, me too.
Yeah. Take a point.
These are the names that I know.
Minus 120.
I've had these sports betting websites for 13 years. I've had people covering soccer, and I know throughout the years, like, these are the ones that I know. Chris on Pick Dogs is using the Bundesliga logo, and it's like he's using a logo that's like this big, and the article's like this big. So we got to find him a better logo. Also, I believe we have access to pictures of these guys,
Yeah.
So maybe we should try that. But I don't know. I think it was a good try, though. Definitely some action over there. And hats off to Shane for his UFC coverage as well at Pick Dogs. Super well received by everybody out there. So thanks for that. And, of course, Randy always not, we could talk about Randy's contributions, and I don't think we have a long enough show to do that. And, of course, everyone at Sports Chat, Andrew and Brett and, everybody. Everybody is grinding it. You know, the new guys, Ron and you know the new guys over at Pick Dogs, all grinding it. The guys at Sports Shot still grinding it too through the break. You know, continuing to pump out content. Not so easy. Not so easy. So you guys are echoing, is what I'm hearing, and that'll all get fixed soon. Chris, it's probably Rod, is my guess, because Chris has got headphones on, right? That's like a tentative, like, yes, I have the headphones, but I'm not wearing them. Is what this means?
Yeah.
Chris is like, I have headphones, but I'm not wearing them. It's probably right. All this is gonna be fixed. We have like so much equipment that's all in order for all the guys, Steve and these guys too. Like, as you guys know, I've been doing this too, so it's not coming from here. I got. The show actually sounds better like that. Anyways,
with this cap on my ear, then we should be good. It won't echo so bad.
Yeah, well, you'll have headphones like this in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have them soon.
Once the mail goes.
Anyways, so what do we have now? Sim picks? How did we do yesterday?
I'll give you a couple picks in golf today.
There's golf?
Yeah, there's skins match today.
Oh, Brady and that one?
McElroy and Johnson versus Fowler and Wolf.
Where are they playing?
They are playing. Where are they playing?
That matters. That matters a lot. I'll tell you, my game yesterday was like some of these guys. It was like fairways, greens, and then I just couldn't putt, man. It was like gusting winds, Bermuda greens. Every shot I had was like, it was like putting on a glass table. It was like you touch the ball, it's flying.
You're in Florida.
Seminole course in Florida. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So Rory lives in Florida now, right? And most of these
people. Yeah. Close to his home.
All right.
Close to Tiger.
Is it best ball format, or is it it's because it's teams? So is it best ball? Is it just low score? If it's low score, skins are gonna be very, very tough to come by. You know, with four guys.
Yeah, that's how they do it. It's low score.
If it's best ball, I mean, it's going to take Eagles to win, you know.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to take Dustin Johnson to miss the fairway on the first hole. He hasn't. None of these guys have swung a club in months.
They've been trust me on this one. They've been swinging.
Well, they've probably been in their house swinging a club.
No. All these guys have practice areas. I mean, if I have a practice area in my front yard, then they have one.
Yeah, they probably got something. I'm still going to take him to miss the fairway. He loves missing the fairway. You take anyone to miss the fairway, they're all at
our course in the one of the tournaments that they did play this year. He drove the green on like a 390-yard par 4. It's like,
well, that's why, because he drives the ball so far and he does miss the fairway a little more than anybody else. So that's why I'm going to take him to miss the fairway, and I'm going to take. After the first 9 holes, I'm going to take a tie. I think it could be easily still tied.
It's almost like Rod's anti-Alberta in that one, because isn't like Dustin Johnson married to Gretzky's daughter? So it's almost like there's some kind of connection here. But he stayed in Calgary last time he was in town. It's like,
exactly, he was in Calgary.
My guess is that Gretzky lives in California or something.
Arizona, I think.
Arizona? Does he now?
I think Gretzky lives in Arizona because he owned part of the Coyotes for a while.
My guess is he's a heck of a golfer too. That's my guess.
He is, yeah.
My guess.
Well, he's been golfing since he was young.
Yeah.
He used to have golf tournaments we used to go. We had, 10 years straight golf tournaments in Edmonton. The Gretzky Golf Tournament. Every year we'd go watch the Gretzky Golf Tournament. You get celebrities.
Any hockey player I've ever played with, even the guy I played with that worked for CCM that I played with a couple months ago, guys have incredible hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
All right, so what else
Like
we got?
Grant Pierre almost made the PGA. Grant Pierre was close.
Stop to do a couple lines in between holes. Is that what happened?
Yep.
Grant, you're wanted on the tee. Hang on a second.
Hold on a second.
All right, what do we got, Rod? Besides this Dustin Johnson missing the fairway, anything else?
For me, I'm going to take. It'll be tied after the first 9 holes. At plus 375 because it's going to be hard. I can see them easily
So Johnson and Fowler are the team?
No, it's McElroy and Johnson and Fowler and Wolf.
Wow. It seems like a mismatch, right?
It does, yeah. And that's why even the books have it looking like it's going to be a mismatch. They have they got Fowler and Wolf. Lose, they have them. It's plus 145 after the first 9, and then they got Johnson and McElroy.
McElroy also hits the ball about 650 yards. I mean, he's also a huge hitter. All right. What else?
So I think it'll be tied because I think they can win this game here and there, but I think we might get a lot of carryover games here.
All right. So what do we got next here? Sim picks? How did we do? How did we do yesterday? We covered it. We got I would have golf picks on the title there if I would have known. What do we got? Sim picks?
Yeah. So yesterday the Saints covered against the Bucks.
Wow.
The Jets covered against Miami.
Lost.
And New England covered against Buffalo, and Philly won outright against the Cowboys.
Right, we had Philly money line, so I was 2-2, but I had the Philly money line. Me and Rod both had them.
4-0.
2-2.
2-2. But we made some money.
I stink. I stink at these. I mean, some people think I stink at all my picks, but these I really do stink at. I mean, like on the other picks, it's like I might go on bad runs, but it's like also go on heaters, you know. With this, it's like I never go on a heater. It's like the only heater we have is Rod's hockey picks.
And then I haven't seen any in a while. They're scared to put them out.
What they're also doing, which Randy is covering over at Sports Chat, is historical NBA teams against each other. And today is all the 90, 97, 98 Bulls are in every game today. So they're playing against like they have them against the Lakers, the Magic Johnson teams. They have them against all the classic big teams. Should be. What do we got? But you can check out those at sportschatplace.com.
So
I'm still trying to figure out my mic. I went to the aerial mic up here, so it's kind of like that's why I keep leaning up. As you can see, the clip that comes with the mic, it only fits for the shoe. You know, like one of these shoe things that fits inside the camera. So I had to order a special one. So it's like I have this one with, you guys will love this, with painter's tape fastened to a different mic. But you can hear it sounds way better when it's right up to my mouth. But I've been putting it here.
Yeah, it works.
I've been putting it up here. So, that didn't sound good. So people can, so it's kind of out of the screen so you can see me. And he's like, Chris, what do we got today? This is show's deteriorating in a hurry. Tomorrow, by the way, Mondays with Mitch. I'll give a little bit of an update of the studio. And it's actually almost done. So we're probably about 2 weeks away, a week and a half away from the studio being, well, not complete, but as complete as it's going to be for now. Chris, what do you got?
At one, Browns minus 8 against the Bengals.
Browns.
Next.
4 Eastern, Ravens minus 4.5 against the Steelers.
Ravens.
Steelers.
I like the Steelers. Steelers money line as well. 7 Bears minus 8.5 against the Packers. Sorry, against the Lions. Against the Lions.
Lions plus 8.5.
Yeah, Lions.
I'll take the Lions.
And 10 Packers minus 5 against the Vikings.
Vikings.
Vikings money line.
Money line for me.
Packers minus 5. They're at home.
All right, well, it was a wonderful show. I love doing those sim picks. Can't wait till those are over. I'm going to personally send whoever's the first of the main leagues to come out of this. I'm going to send them a box of chocolate just because I don't have to do these sim picks anymore. Seriously, man. I'm so over these things. Sick of losing. It's literally what it is. Anyways, have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be Mondays with Mitch. And, God, hopefully we're back to normal soon. I was really hoping for more news by now. I really was. I have, so here's the thing about the duct tape. I do have some of the silver duct tape, but what happens when you send your wife out for duct tape, I also have some really nice green duct tape. It's like really, really nice.
Well, I've seen camo duct tape. At least you didn't get like camouflage duct tape.
So we got NASCAR on Wednesday night as well.
Yep.
So we'll talk about it then. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow.